चुन कर आज हमें हिलेत दर गुज़श्त halal ast burdan bi shamsher dast. When all has been tried, yet justice is not in sight, it is then right to pick up the sword. It is then right to fight. Zafarnama, written by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, delivered by his faithful servants, and this is how it begins. He is the immortal Lord, external, all-powerful, giver of joy and salvation, bountiful and merciful. O merciful one who protects and guides, O charming one who forgives and provides. Mightiest of emperors, giver of good, guide without peer, ethereal and formless, he is unique beyond compare. Without pomp or glory, or armies to command, giver of pleasures and joy from his generous hand. Beyond this world, powerful, he is manifest all around. In the gifts that he bestows, his presence does abound. The bountiful, the pure one, protects with his hand. All merciful is he, the provider in every land. The greatest of greats, master of every sphere, merciful, kind sustainer, beauteous beyond compare. The wisest of the wise, protector of the weak, destroyer of tyrants, the keeper of the meek. The protector of the path, all virtue rests in his name. The diviner of the truth, holy books echo his fame. The supreme font of wisdom, all-knowing and wisest, the diviner of the truth, in everything manifest. The Lord of all creation, master of all wisdom, he resolves all problems of his eternal kingdom. He is the Almighty, all creation at his call. He is all-knowing, the master of all. I have no faith at all in the oath that you swear, that the God who is one, your witness does bear. Not a jot of trust do I now have in you, whose generals and ministers are all liars, untrue. Such oaths on the Quran, whosoever does believe, will be wretched at the end, destroyed beyond reprieve. The one touched by Huma's shadow and taken under its wing is beyond harm from clever crows. Their designs mean nothing. As one protected by the lion is set free from all fear, he cannot then be harmed by goats, sheep, and deer. In your false oath on the Quran, had I not believed, my brave army wouldn't be crippled, nor in such manner deceived. 40 brave but hungry men, how are they expected to defend when countless enemy hordes upon them suddenly descend? All of a sudden they descended, giving the lie to their words, brandishing their guns, raining arrows, waving swords. Then, left with no choice, I joined battle with your hordes, came with much deliberation amidst the arrows and swords. When all has been tried, yet justice is not in sight, it is then right to pick up the sword. It is then right to fight. Why should I then believe in oaths on the holy word? If I had not been deceived, would I go down this road? Why should I then believe in oaths on the holy word? If I had not been deceived, would I go down this road? I had no knowledge of this man's wily heart, else I would not have trusted or come down this path. Every single trusting soul who in your oath on the Quran believed should not have come to any harm, nor killed, nor captured, nor deceived. Your men, all clad in black, swarmed upon us like flies. Of a sudden they descended, the battlefield echoed their cries. Each of your men who stepped beyond the sheltering wall got an arrow through his heart, and then bleeding did fall. Those who hid behind the wall and escaped the strife were safe from our arrows, held on to dear life. I then saw the proud Nahar swagger upon the battlefield. Forthwith he tasted my arrow, and his soul he did yield. Then many arrogant Khans, who had boasted long and loud, deserted they the battlefield under the shadow of a shroud. Another charging Afghan horde then loomed into sight, rising like a river in flood, a gunshot, an arrow in flight. The Afghan fought hard, attacking from right and left, at times with a clever plan, but often of wisdom bereft. Many a time did he attack, suffered many wounds in strife. He killed 2 of my brave men, then laid down his own life. But your cowardly Khawaja chief hid behind the sheltering wall, too scared to fight like a man, did not enter the battle at all. Alas, had the coward stepped out, had I only once seen his face, my single arrow would have ensured a quick end to his days. From flying bullets and arrows, profusely the wounded bled, until finally on that battlefield many of both sides lay dead. Under the shower of bullets and arrows, so numerous were the dead, that like the poppy flower, the earth itself turned red. Chopped heads and hacked limbs lay piled on the battlefield, as if they were only balls and sticks on some polo field. So fearsome the scream of arrows, so awesome the twang of bows, that from a cowering world a loud cry at once arose. The screaming arrows rained death, each one to its target sped, and the bravest of your men were counted among the dead. But how long can 40 men, even the bravest of the brave, stave off a countless horde charging in an endless wave? When the light of the world drew a veil across his face, the king of the night rose in all his beauty and grace. If one believes in a promise sworn on the holy word, then he is safe from all harm, he is guided by the Lord. Thus guided by God himself and protected by his grace, he emerges, unscathed, unharmed, from the enemy's foul embrace. Unaware was I that this perjurer worshipped no god but gold. His face he had flung aside, his rotten soul he had sold. There is no belief in religion, and faith is discarded. The Lord is ignored, the prophet disregarded. Those who are firm of faith and true believers of God break not their promises thus, but stay firm to their word. There can be no trust in a man who swears in the Quran and one God, but values not the holy oath and is false to his given word. And now, even 100 times, if on the Quran were he to swear, his word I would never believe, for his promises I do not care. If I had truly believed in your promise, in your oath, to greet your message I would, with ceremony, come forth. If I had truly believed in your promise, in your oath, to greet your message I would, with ceremony, come forth. And now it is your duty, imposed by your word, you have sworn to keep your oath on your God. In fact, if your majesty had been present here, all that has transpired would have been clear. It remains your burden in such a manner to act, that your act be in keeping with your written pact. Your oral word I have received, the written too is in my possession. Now this task should be done so that it gives satisfaction. Men must speak the truth living in their thoughts, not have a promise on their lips and a lie in their hearts. To what your Qazi has said, I am still ready to agree. If your intentions are clear, then you should come to me. If you need to see that oath sworn on the holy book, I can have it sent forthwith for you to take another look. If here to Gangar village you were to proceed, we would meet face to face to talk of word and deed. There is no danger to you here, no one will raise a hand. This community of Bedars is under my command. Come, so that we can meet and talk face to face. I can show you forgiveness and grant you my grace. Present me perhaps a fine horse that's valued at 1,000. I may grant you, if you seek, in bounty this tract of land. Of the King of Kings I am but a humble knave. If he were to command, I would respond as a slave. Even now, if a command were to be sent to me, with my body and soul I would appear before thee. If you hold your faith dear, and you a true follower be, then you should tarry no more in settling matters with me. You should know the truth by knowing the true Lord, and not torment or torture based on a casual word. You sit on a mighty throne, you are king of all you survey, but strange is your justice, strange the virtues you display. Strange are your ways of faith, strange the justice you claim. Shame upon us such a rule, 100 times shame. Your decrees and commands are strange, very strange indeed, for words shorn of truth only to grievous harm lead. Do not in such heartless manner put innocence to the sword, else this too shall be your fate at the hands of the Lord. O God-fearing man, the Lord you must heed. He is above all flattery, he is beyond all need. He is the King of Kings, truly the fearless one, King of the heavens and earth, master of all creation. Supreme master of all, from him creation takes birth, maker of all living beings, of the heavens and of earth. The creator of all creatures, the elephant strong, the ant weak, destroyer of the heedless, kind protector of the meek. Protector of the meek, he is known by that name. He is beyond all need, beyond flattery or fame. Unbending, supreme, he is the incomparable one. He shows the right path, he is the guiding one. The burden of your oath lies heavy on your head. You have to do the right thing and perform what you've said. It is incumbent upon you to act with wisdom and determination. Set your hand to the task, skillfully take it to resolution. You killed my 4 sons. What difference does that make, when after their deaths there still remains behind a coiled snake? What sort of manliness is this? What courage does it require to stamp out young sparks and then fan the roaring fire? The poet Firdausi has said in words beautiful and chaste that they work for the devil who act in such unholy haste. In your majesty's court, the day I take stand, I will be the witness for the blood on your hand. But if you still disregard your falsehood and your lies, you too will be forgotten by God, be ever guilty in his eyes. But if you set yourself to the task and show justice in your ways, he will still show you mercy, he will forgive you in grace. Pursuit of truth is worship, it is an act of true piety, to know the true God in life's highest priority. But among those who know God, I do not count your name, for you have committed only acts of infamy and shame. That is why the merciful God does not count you in his fold. He too does not accept you, despite all your wealth untold. Even if 100 times on the Quran you swore, I would not pay any heed or believe you anymore. I will not enter your presence, nor set foot upon this way. I would not go there now, if even the prince was to say. O King of Kings, Aurangzeb, to your talents too I pay tribute. You are a horseman of standing, a deft swordsman of repute. You are handsome and clever and steeped in wisdom, chief among the chiefs, lord of this kingdom. Using your wisdom to a plan, and with deliberation your sword, of both the sword and bounty you have become the lord. Blessed by looks and beauty, good conscience and high mind, and of land and wealth, a giver, merciful and kind. His gifts are truly great, he is like a rock in war. He is gifted as the angels, more glorious than a star. O King of Kings, the ornament that the two worlds does adorn, the kingdom of the earth is yours, but not so the heavenly one. My fight is with the hill princes, it is them I kill and slay, for I oppose worship of idols, and 'tis to idols they pray. Take a look also at this world's faithless way. When their backs are turned, it does harm to its prey. But take a look too at the mercy of the Lord. He blesses a single man to destroy a countless horde. What can the enemy do when there is such a friend, the merciful whose task is to give without end? He delivers and he protects, he guides to the right way, and he teaches the tongue to truly praise and to pray. The enemy he doesn't spare, he blinds him in the eye. The weak and downtrodden he brings home safe and dry. Those who follow the path of truth, in their thought and action, he showers mercies upon them, they are granted his compassion. Each one who serves him with his heart and mind, upon him are showered mercies, true peace he does find. How can the tricks and plots of the enemy ever succeed, if the guiding one himself with the faithful is pleased? Even when upon a lone man descend many 1,000, the Creator protects him, shields him with his hand. If you gaze with pride on your armies and gold, I look unto God and his mercies untold. And you take pride in your wealth and the might of your land, so I trust in the Eternal One in the protection of his hand. Be aware this world is transient, here today and tomorrow gone. The wheel of time is relentless, it will take us all one by one. Be aware this world is transient, here today and tomorrow gone. The wheel of time is relentless, it will take us all one by one. Beware the unrelenting turn of time's faithless wheel. It turns for each and every one, it harbors no appeal. Do not use force unwittingly, the weak you must spare. Do not chisel away at oaths, be true to the words you swear. What harm can the enemy do if God himself is a friend? Though one may be alone and the enemy becomes 100. 1,000 plots of the enemy, full of treachery and fraud, they cannot harm a single hair of the one protected by God. Written and translated by Navtej Sarna. Zafarnama.